Now, I am curious how your team, I mean, I'm sure you've thought about this, but like dungeon griefing, like what happens if a member of your party is intentionally trying to get the party wiped to kill them? Like, how do you guys plan on dealing with something like that if it comes up?
I mean, definitely it's like a case by case scenario, right? We definitely don't want to foment people to or encourage people to go and start not having their best behavior with other people, especially hardcore where the stakes are so high, right? Like we want people to come and enjoy the game. So definitely it's going to be a case to case basis. You know, if you think that you've been in a situation that wasn't the best, I mean, I would say to report the person, right? And like we have a team, an amazing team that will like look at the reports and take a look, right? Like there's a fine line, right? Because there's some situations where it can be clearly like, hey, someone actually wanted to go and make a mess, or they had like not very nice kind of like feelings, and then they just
Yeah,
like
we
try
got in an
not to do
argument and
it.
he pulled three mobs to kill us all. Like
Yeah,
that situation, yeah.
that situation. But then there's other times where, you know, someone might have had an accident and actually not trying to do it on purpose and create a situation where everybody wiped, in which case like they might also be reported. So there's always gonna be like situations like that. So it is gonna be definitely a case to case scenario, and it's gonna be treated, you know, like how it is now. That said, I mean, I feel like from hardcore there's gonna be a bunch of like really like cool new uh friendships, right? Because you really need to trust the people that you're playing with.
Right.
So I can see like a lot of friendships of being like, hey, this person, like I can literally trust my life to this healer and stuff like that. So we really we really encourage people to, you know, be in their best behavior, because at the end of the day, if someone, you know, continues to do these kind of acts and kind of like goes around, like the community will start knowing who is who, and they'll like also kind of like stop getting invited. So I would encourage you to be a nice player and play nice, you know. Play nice, play fair, for sure.
So, like the edge case is like something like, like a bug, or like if you're killed by an NPC, or if you're killed during your logout countdown, like that'll be all investigated on a per case basis. So they look at it and they will judge whether or not it was a fair death, or was your own fault, or was the fault of something else.
Not necessarily. We're not gonna be, the team is not gonna be granting any resurrections. This would be more on the case-to-case basics of if maybe the action, like an account needs action, kind of like maybe a suspension if this is like someone that keeps getting into these situations a lot, you know. But definitely we're not gonna be making anyone alive again, right? We're not gonna be resurrecting anyone in the game.
Now, some of the things that you mentioned there, like accidental disconnects or death through dropping from a
Logout
flight path
or
or something.
logout counter, being killed in the middle of a logout counter. Yeah.
Yeah, so things like that, that's some additional work that the team has done to protect against disconnects. Something the logout counter is a great example. We've actually shortened that a bit so that your character will disconnect faster if you disconnect but your character's still playing, to protect against some of that. That being said, I would encourage players hearing this not to pull a bunch of mobs and then try and pull the plug out from the wall to escape from a situation. That will likely still kill you. But let's say you're running along a path or something like that and you disconnect. More than likely, your character, ideally, your character would be safe in a scenario like that.
Okay, so yeah, please don't abuse the system. It's basically what you're saying. Please don't abuse. We gave you a
That's
gracious
the
timer.
ask.
Please don't abuse that.
And like I mentioned, we have added a bunch of different kind of patching edge cases that we could see that like maybe might be unfair deaths from the technical point of view, right? As Clay mentioned, we are also adding like a flight bite protection. So if you died and if you disconnect and then you were on a flight path and you were gonna be like the altitude is so high that you would have died just from the fall damage, then we're gonna like take your character back to the original Flymaster and those kind of things. So we're like looking at all those kind of like improvements. So there's less unfortunate deaths due to things like disconnects or fly padding and stuff like that.
So just to confirm that there's no resurrections unless specifically it's a tech thing on your
No,
end
no,
or
no.
something.
There's no resurrections. These
There are no
are
resurrections. Period.
preventive. Yeah, these are preventative measures. So, like the system, for example, when you're flying, if it detects that it's too far from the ground, it will like teleport you to where you start your flight. Same with the disconnect, as Clay mentioned. You're gonna be disconnecting faster, so hopefully getting you out of an area that it might be like hard. But if you log on and your character is dead, unfortunately, there's nothing we're gonna do about it.
It is called hardcore for a reason, right? It is. That's what it's in the name.
We're upfront when you create a character. There's some language there reminding you of the scenario that you're entering into. This is hardcore. But the team has done a lot of work to try to prevent those accidental disconnects.
The technical aspects, the technical aspect, yeah.
But back to your original question, that's correct. There's no appeals process or system for resurrecting characters.
The afterlife gods have spoken, and there is no resurrection. You stay in the afterlife.
Unless I'm mistaken, and we've changed it, I'm pretty sure the spirit healers simply say, "I can't help you, champion." Now, if you try to resurrect
you're on your own.
Now, what does happen to your gear? Have you guys changed the way the system works? Like, if you're killed by a player or a mob, like, do people get to loot your corpse and like take your gear and your money, or to just disappear with you in the afterlife?
It just you take it with you in the afterlife.
It's probably for the best. I couldn't imagine the bloodbath if you could do that. Take everything from their bank. I have the deed to their death. I killed them. Give me what's in their bank.
Yeah,
a whole another level of griefing would happen.
Maybe. It's not part of the design at the moment.
So another question is for you, with Classic came the return of, what's your item level? Do you have your best in slot gear? Are you anticipating that to go to a new level with hardcore since the stakes are so much higher? And how do you prevent that from becoming toxic?
That's the beauty of World of Warcraft, right? Like, World of Warcraft it's a world of a game. It has many different opportunities for people to engage with. We're really hoping that people will engage with the game as however they want to engage with it. Some people might be really into PvP, right? And that maybe their goal is going to be like how many a string of ears I can get. Other people are going to be going into just leveling all the different classes and maybe get them all to level 20. So we really want to emphasize that like hardcore is about the journey. I know that some people they're really looking forwards to get into level 60 and engage with the end game, and all of that is going to be there. Really hoping for people to find the place that they enjoy the most in this new mode of game. Pet
tethering, has that been modified at all? I know a lot of times, like most of my hardcore roleplay deaths are because I jumped off something forgetting to do this with my pet and he would pull everything to me. Has that been messed with at all, or is that going to be like the same as it always was in Classic?
Yeah, there hasn't been any modifications on the actual pet logic. I guess that if you're jumping off, would
be careful.
Be careful. Maybe you'll have to not dismiss your your pet, but ask it to go safe. Forgot the name of it. Not when you let them go, but you just kind of like
put them in the stable.
Yeah, put it in the stable for a little bit and just go back.
Everything you guys have told me has just been, it's in the name. We give you warnings. Be careful. Play carefully. Don't play haphazardly.
Yeah, exactly. So be aware of your surroundings for sure. Like that's a big tip.
How is your team handling like paid dungeon runs? Like in game, I can hire a mercenary who's level 60 to take my level 1 character through like dungeons. Like, is that going to still be an option in hardcore?
Yeah. So what's great about some of the additional work that we've done on dungeons is players under the level 60 can't group with players who are level 60 to guide them through dungeons. So that's true of most dungeons. There's a few endgame dungeons where I believe level 58 characters can still group with level 60 characters, but by and large, most dungeons, players on their level up journey experience won't be able to play with level 60 characters.
Have you mainstreamed any of the classes like to buff them down a little bit? You mentioned you touched priest, no resurrection, but like paladins have that infamous bubble hearth. It's like if the dungeon's about to wipe, see you later, guys. Like is that something? Yeah. Is that still going to be a thing, or are you guys toning that stuff down so if the whole group wipes, paladins still aren't safe?
So bubble hearthing is out. No more bubble hearthing
for
paladins.
No!
Yeah.
That's good. See, that's good to know.
We just found, there's some things, paladins, shamans, warlocks, where players, it created some pretty wild class imbalance. Paladins would be a very popular class that just didn't really have a place in hardcore to even things out. That being said, all of those classes are still extremely desirable and very functional in hardcore. From a hardcore perspective, in keeping things more balanced, they really haven't lost out on much within the hardcore space.